Revealed. 3 divine keys to reclaim your true self after 40 days of supernatural transformation. In a quaint English village, where the rolling hills of Yorkshire kissed the horizon, Mary's heart bore the weight of the world. Life had shifted dramatically since her husband lost his job and shadows of doubt crept into her mind. Desperate for clarity, she embarked on a 40-day journey, seeking the guidance of Saint Michael. As the church bells rang, resonating with themes of hope, Mary felt an electric energy in the air, a divine whisper beckoning her to trust again. One ordinary Sunday. As hymns blended with whispers of faith, Mary was moved by the fervent prayers of her community. For her, the church was a sanctuary infused with sacred purpose. But as she watched her family struggle, darkness threatened to eclipse her spirit. Would her prayers reach the heavens, or would they fall to silence? Just then, a surge of warmth enveloped her during the pastor's impassioned message, promising miraculous transformations for those willing to truly believe. A flicker of hope blossomed in her heart. Days passed, and Mary wrestled with the cooking pot over financial strains, gripping her daughter's small hand as unexplained illness held her child hostage. Counters overflowed with herbal remedies that failed to heal, and each attempt only deepened her loneliness. Yet, she still found solace in her prayers, which flowed freely like a stream of faith. Please, Saint Michael, guide me towards my family's healing. And then, amidst the bustling market, an elderly woman named Agnes spoke of a miraculous healing that unraveled before her very eyes. Agnes' eyes sparkled with memories as she detailed how, by the grace of divine intervention, she had been cured of an ailment that confounded doctors. Mary was captivated by the revelation. It was a reminder that, just like the diverse seasons of nature, trials are often accompanied by renewal. Yet still, the specters of doubt loomed heavy in her heart. Before we continue, I need to tell you about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system, and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, click the bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can leave a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, tell me in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let's continue. As the village gathered for a prayer vigil one fateful evening, Mary's heart raced with trepidation. The air hummed with expectancy, as if the very fabric of the universe held its breath. She mustered the courage and bared her soul to her community, the tears flowing freely down her cheeks. I cry out for help. I seek divine intervention for my family's sake. The words broke from her heart like fragile glass. Then a hush fell thick and pregnant with possibility, as if the heavens themselves paused to listen. In that sacred space, surrounded by familiar faces, Mary felt an undeniable shift. It was as if celestial hands were weaving together her shattered dreams. Suddenly, soft light broke through the evening clouds, bathing the vigil in ethereal warmth, illuminating the path of divine grace. Murmurs of awe flickered through the crowd as the night deepened. Mary wrestled with an urgent question: did she have the faith to grasp this transformative truth? A supernatural presence hovered, inviting her to embrace the unknown. Each prayer became a stepping stone, leading her deeper into the mystery of grace. Would she embrace it when everything around her remained uncertain? The villagers leaned closer in anticipation, hearts beating in unison, as the unfolding of divine grace loomed ever closer. As the prayer vigil illuminated the night, a comforting hush enveloped the gathering. Mary stood at the heart of it, a fragile figure cloaked in vulnerability. Sorrow, fear, and a yearning for relief tangled within her spirit, like wild vines creeping up the walls of an abandoned cottage. Yet, amidst the tension and uncertainty, hope flickered like a candle's flame shielded from the wind. The collective breath of the village seemed to harmonize with her own. Each prayer, a note in a sacred melody, wove threads of faith around her. She felt a compelling urge to let go of her burdens, to lift them high and surrender them to the divine. Just then, an inner voice rose gently, whispering, "Trust in what you cannot yet see." In that moment, Mary closed her eyes and envisioned a warm light enveloping her daughter, Emily, whose laughter had once filled their home. Her small frame, now frail and burdened by sickness, became a focal point of fervent prayer. The image of Emily, surrounded by heavenly glow, imbued Mary's heart with a sacred surge of determination. "Saint Michael," she called forth, her voice strong now, "intercede for us. Bring healing and hope." Her plea resonated through the vigil, anchoring her spirit in the collective faith surrounding her. What if this was the moment where everything shifted? What if the darkness gave way to radiant light? Just as Mary pondered this, Agnes stepped forward, her presence commanding yet soothing. "I stood where you stand now," she began, her voice steady. "I too cried out in despair. But in my darkest hour, the divine revealed itself in ways I could not have imagined." Mary leaned closer, as the elder continued. "I was filled with doubt, but as I prayed, I felt a hand upon my shoulder, guiding me. It was then I realized that the key to healing is more than faith. It's surrendering your heart and the understanding that miracles take time." The words settled deep within Mary. Miracles do unfold in the quiet whispers of faith and patience. Perhaps it wasn't just about immediate relief but a deeper journey towards spiritual renewal. Could waiting and embracing the present struggle be part of the process? As the evening grew cool and the stars twinkled above like divine jewels, Mary breathed in the stillness. It was in this precious moment she understood her path was entwined with others, their faith buoying her own. The vigil was more than an assembly. It was a communion of souls lifting one another toward the heavens. In that sacred embrace, doubts dissipated like mist under the breaking dawn. Mary looked around, her eyes meeting those of her neighbors, and felt the weight of shared hope. "Tonight," she proclaimed softly, yet firmly, "we stand together. Together we are stronger. We are loved. We will rise and we will heal." A gentle murmur of agreement rippled through the crowd, and a collective warmth overshadowed their fears. Suddenly, Mary's heart raced again with an exhilarating thought. What if the community, bound by love and faith, held the power to spark true transformation? But as she spoke of unity and healing, an unforeseen question gripped her. Was this the beginning of something profound, or merely a fleeting moment cloaked in shared awakening? The path ahead shimmered with uncertainty, but with each prayer uttered, the flame of divine presence glimmered brighter. What revelations awaited Mary and her community as they delved deeper into this journey together? Would their collective faith open the gates of heaven, ushering in miracles beyond their grasp? The village held its breath in a collective mix of anticipation and reverence as the vigil continued. Mary's heart, now awakening with new rhythms of hope, beat a little faster. She gazed upon her neighbors' faces, their eyes shining with shared resolve. Each one had a story, a struggle, a reason to pray. The air was thick with the scent of damp earth and burning candles, holding the weight of unspoken yearnings as their prayers swelled. They transformed into a tapestry, intricately woven together by a divine hand. Mary felt the warmth of comforting whispers circling around them, urging them to share their burdens. "Let us speak the names of those we hold dear," Agnes suggested, her voice a gentle caress against the night's chill. "Let every name be a spark, igniting our prayers like the flames of these candles." One by one, the villagers offered up names. "John," spoke one man, his voice laced with worry. "He's in the hospital now." "Sarah," a mother wept softly, her words barely escaping her lips. "She's lost in her grief." Mary joined in, calling forth Emily's name with raw honesty. Each utterance sent ripples through the crowd, binding them in shared vulnerability. Bodies shifted closer, hands held tightly, and hearts opened wider. Agnes began a soft hymn, the melody enveloping them like a warm blanket. The words danced through the air, creating a cocoon of protection around them. With each note, Mary sensed an undercurrent of divine electricity, stirring her spirit awake. Suddenly, a flash of light illuminated the flickering candles, creating an almost ethereal glow. Gasps echoed as they turned toward the source, their hearts quickening. The temperature seemed to rise, a tender heat washing over them. Was this the divine presence they had been praying for? "Fear not," Agnes said, her voice steady amidst the awe. Such signs remind us that we are never alone. Our cries ascend, and in our unity the heavens might just respond. The tension broke, and laughter erupted unexpectedly. Mixed with tears, joy and sorrow twirled vividly in the night air. In that moment, they became vessels of unconditional love, united in their suffering and hopes alike. Mary felt an awakening within her soul, a deep yearning for connection and healing not just for Emily, but for every heart that felt lost in the shadows. What if this is not just about us? She thought, what if our transformation was meant to shine a light for others too? Then came the realization that struck her like a bolt of lightning. True healing begins with love, and the love reflected back nourishes the spirit. Could their combined light begin to chase away the darkness in their lives and beyond? Every smile exchanged, every whispered prayer, served as tiny miracles in the seemingly mundane. The fabric of their community thickened, formed through shared struggle and renewal. Mary felt the pull of something greater, an ache, yes, but also an exhilaration. Was this the beginning of a journey that would lead them deeper into faith, unveiling not just their true selves, but a path that could touch the world around them? As a hush fell again, except for the soft crackle of the flames, her heart soared with another question lingering in the air. What divine keys were hidden within the trials they faced? Would each challenge they overcame illuminate yet another piece of truth, revealing the deeper mysteries of faith waiting just beneath the surface of their everyday lives? The candlelight flickered, casting shadows that danced like prayers reaching out into the infinite. The moment lingered, a sweet stillness settling over the village as anticipation crackled in the air. Mary felt the weight of her questions hanging just above her, like stars waiting to be born. The flickering candles danced, illuminating soft, wondering faces around her. A silent agreement passed between them, a willingness to embrace not only their own challenges but the collective burdens of their community. As they breathed together, the air became heavy with possibility. Mary's thoughts turned to Emily again, her heart tethered to the pain of a friend who had been ensnared by sorrow. How can we help her? The thought whispered and swelled like tide pools lapping against the shore. Perhaps their shared light could pierce through the darkness that surrounded Emily's heart. Agnes lifted her head, her eyes alive with a divine fire. Let us call forth something beautiful tonight, she said softly, her presence grounding them. Let our love be the beacon that guides Jane, and every soul lost in shadows. The villagers nodded, their heads coming together like petals of a blooming flower. They began to hum, a harmonized vibration that seemed to resonate with the very fabric of their community. Mary closed her eyes, feeling the wave of sound wash over her as she envisioned Emily being drawn into their warm embrace. Emily, Mary called out softly, letting her spirit soar into her words. We stand with you. You are never alone. The affirmation felt powerful, as if unseen wings wrapped around them all. A light tugged at the edges of Mary's heart, insistent and bright. Suddenly, a wave of warmth enveloped them. The flickering flames shot up higher, as if encouraged by the collective fervor of their love. Curiously, hands were raised together, palms open to receive, much like the petals atop a flower reaching for the sun. Together we ignite the power of love. Together we heal, Agnes declared, her voice a steady force against the dark veil of despair that sometimes cloaked their lives. The villagers echoed back her words, hearts aligning in a steadfast chorus. Mary felt something shift within her, and in that beautiful moment, it was as if the very essence of their unity painted brilliant strokes of hope upon the canvas of their village. The flickering light brightened, not just illuminating the space around them, but penetrating hearts with divine clarity. This was not merely a vigil. It was a transformative pilgrimage of souls entwined by shared pain and healed through love. Fear is a thief, but love keeps watch, Agnes whispered, her eyes gleaming. The depth of her understanding struck a chord in Mary. Was it possible that the very trials they faced could be the catalysts for their spiritual awakening? Amongst their whispers, the profound truth battled against doubt. Love was indeed a powerful weapon. It wrapped around them like a protective cloak, making them feel invincible against the trials of life. The idea that their collective love could extend beyond was intoxicating. Was it a pathway toward world-changing hope? Just then, the wind stirred playfully, swirling around them, as if carrying the whispers of heaven. The village felt more alive than ever, and within its heart, Mary sensed the promise of new beginnings. It was a movement, a call to action, a divine invitation to awaken not just their own spirits, but those outside the boundaries of their lives. As they prepared to conclude their vigil, Mary realized that mysteries still awaited. What awaited them on this journey of love and transformation? With hearts encased in togetherness and eyes towards the horizon, they sensed that not only were they on the brink of a profound revelation, but they stood at the precipice of something monumental that beckoned to them. What wonders lay beyond this sacred night? Would the divine unravel their struggles and unveil paths previously unseen? As the candlelight flickered and their voices intertwined against the vastness of the night sky, they knew the adventure was just beginning. As the last notes of their melody faded into the stillness of the night, a hush enveloped the village, weaving a tapestry of serenity. The candles, now flickering gently, seemed to pulse with a heartbeat of their own, as if responding to the collective spirit growing within the gathered souls. Mary took a moment to absorb the sacred energy that danced in the air, a tangible force of faith and love. Tonight, she thought, is not just for Emily. It's a call for all of us. Her heart raced with the realization that the light they had ignited could reach into corners of despair she had yet to explore. She turned her gaze to the faces around her, seeing not only friends but warriors, each ready to step into the unknown with courage, love, and hope. Agnes, sensing the pivotal moment, stepped forward and invited everyone to share their intentions aloud. Let us speak out our dreams. Let our voices be the echo of our yearning, she encouraged. One by one, villagers began to share their hearts with trembling voices, tear-filled eyes, and laughter mingled with hope. I pray for healing over my family, called out Samuel, his hands raised high, catching the glint of candlelight. I seek strength to face my fears, Chloe added, her voice steady despite the vulnerability beneath her words. And as each intention wove together like threads in a rich tapestry, Mary felt the atmosphere shimmer. Everyone's hopes intertwined, becoming a prayer that transcended mere wishes and transformed into a holy proclamation. A sudden gust swept through, wrapping around them like a warm embrace. It felt different, like a reassurance carried on God's breath. Mary closed her eyes again, this time not just for Emily, but for the whole village. She envisioned every hope being lifted up, joined with the brilliance of the stars that stretched across the firmament. In that sacred stillness, a whisper echoed in her spirit. Look to the light within, it urged. With these words dancing in her thoughts, Mary opened her eyes and realized the truth she had been seeking. Each of them carried a divine spark. Each person's light contributed to the kaleidoscope of their collective existence. They were not merely candles. They were lanterns, illuminating paths toward healing, love, and transformation. God doesn't just transform our burdens. He reveals our purpose through them, Agnes spoke, and her words resonated deeply. When we trust the process and lean into love, that's when we truly come alive. The weight of that truth pressed against Mary's heart, urging her forward. This was indeed a pilgrimage, a call to become not just bearers of light for one another, but also vessels of divine grace in a world that often felt dim. As the gathering began to wind down, excitement pulsed through Mary's veins. She lingered on the threshold of possibility, eager to move beyond the sacred night's revelations into the action that awaited them. Where will this lead us? She mused, glancing toward the horizon that held the promise of dawn. It was then she noticed a figure at the edge of the village, a woman draped in shadows, as if unsure whether to step forward. This stranger seemed hesitant yet curious, caught between fear and faith. Could it be that their shared light was about to touch another soul? A new journey shimmered on the cusp of this night. As the unexpected awaited them, could they reach out? Would their hearts be open enough? As the village held its breath, Mary felt the moment expand, alive with divine possibilities. What awaited them beyond this fleeting encounter? The night seemed to hold its breath, waiting for the next move. Mary's heart quickened as she watched the figure hovering at the village's edge, cloaked in shadows. In this fragile moment, the soft glow of candlelight danced across her face, revealing sorrow and longing etched into every line. "Who are you?" Mary called softly, her voice a gentle anchor amid the rising tide of faith. The woman stepped forward, tentative yet drawn by the warmth radiating from the gathering. "My name is Lila," she whispered, each syllable laced with a lifetime of heartache. I heard your song from afar, called to me." Mary felt a shiver of recognition sweep through her, a shared yearning, an echo of her own struggles. "You are welcomed here, Lila. We've been lighting candles, sharing dreams, and hoping for healing. Would you like to share yours?" Lila hesitated, glancing down at the ground, but then looked back up, determination flickering in her eyes. "I pray for freedom from the chains that bind me, from fear of judgment. From memories that haunt me, I seek solace in this dark world." A hush fell over the villagers as Lila's vulnerability laid bare a truth they all understood. Each of them had faced their own shadows, fears that whispered insidious doubts, memories that danced like specters in the night. Mary stepped closer, the warmth of compassion wrapping around her like a blanket. "You stand among friends now. Let us be the light that guides you to healing." With those words, a ripple of encouragement ignited among the villagers. They responded to her call, joining hands in a circle around Lila, their collective spirit thudding like a drumbeat of love. "Together we will pray," Agnes prompted, her voice unwavering. "Together we can reclaim hope." As they prayed, the flame of each candle flickered in unison, bathing the scene in a divine glow as if heaven itself leaned in, ready to embrace the moment. Each voice rose like incense, warm and fragrant, carrying with it the intertwining of their dreams and desires. Mary could feel the burden of Lila's heart begin to lift, replaced with an unfathomable peace. They took turns sharing words of encouragement, affirmations of identity that shone like jewels in the night. "Lila, you are worthy of love," Samuel spoke, his eyes reflecting sincerity. "Do not fear, for your past does not define you," Chloe added, her voice full of conviction. As the prayers continued, Mary witnessed a transformation unfold. Lila's shoulders relaxed, and her breathing steadied as the collective faith of the villagers enveloped her. It was as if divinity had entered their circle, wrapping them all in grace, forging connections stronger than flesh and blood. Yet, deep within Mary, a question lingered. The potential for this divine energy was limitless. What happens now? She wondered, sensing an uncharted path ahead. Suddenly, the shadows that had wrapped around Lila seemed to pulse with life, swirling and shifting as light poured into the emptiness. In that moment, Mary caught glimpses of life beyond their fears, of purpose hidden behind every trial they had faced. Could they truly step into a new reality? Mary pondered. The warmth of love poured over her, igniting a spark of hope that whispered sweet promises. Tension mixed with anticipation hung in the air, each villager poised at the precipice of revelation, ready for divine transformation. As Lila opened her mouth to speak, the dawning light shifted once again, illuminating the question of their deeper purpose. What divine mission is taking root within us? What awaited them as they embraced this new chapter of faith? The threads of destiny were drawing closer, and Mary's spirit danced with the wonder of what tomorrow might bring. Lila took a deep breath, the kind that stirs the soul awake, and began to share. I think I've been living in the shadows for far too long. Every step I take toward hope has been overshadowed by guilt. I've closed off parts of myself, as if hiding can keep me safe. I no longer want to hide." Her voice trembled, yet it held a resilient thread woven through her fear. Mary nodded, her heart swelling with empathy. "Step by step, we can walk into the light together. As we join in this sacred journey, we can release our burdens. With each prayer, we breathe in freedom. With each hymn, we pledge to rise." The villagers leaned in, absorbed in Lila's testimony. A chorus of voices lifted in the warm night, blending their prayers, a beautiful tapestry of faith woven through the air. "What burden are you holding on to today?" a quiet voice from the back asked. It was elderly Martha, whose eyes sparkled with decades of wisdom. With a heart now free to speak, Lila continued, I have lost friends and family relationships that slipped through my fingers as tightly as sand. I lost my way in seeking their approval over my own truth. A collective inhale filled the circle, an understanding rippling through them. Each had felt the pang of lost connections, the weight of expectations pressing down like heavy stones. Mary leaned closer, her spirit a beacon of encouragement. Your truth is safe here, Lila. Share it freely, for in the light of love, we can reclaim what has been lost. As Lila poured forth her heart, recounting the pain that carved hollow spaces inside her, each villager saw fragments of themselves mirrored in her story. Samuel, with a sorrowful gaze, whispered softly, We have all lost something, but in sharing, we begin to regain our wholeness. Agnes broke through the emotional silence with fervent conviction. Let us not just hear her pain, but rise as witnesses. Let us weave this healing love into our own stories and future journeys. In the embrace of whispered prayers and heartfelt affirmations, a transformation began. Light erupted into the space, visible, almost tangible. It enveloped Lila and spread outward, capturing the hearts of all assembled. A flicker of divinity danced at the edges of their consciousness. Understanding dawned upon Mary. This moment wasn't just about healing one soul, but healing the whole community. The threads of their destinies were intertwining, stitching patches of brokenness into a beautiful quilt of faith. With tears glistening in her eyes, Lila spoke again, a newfound urgency in her voice. What if reclaiming my identity is just the beginning? What if we, together, are meant to rise and shine brightly, as a lighthouse for others lost in their storms? A sacred hush fell over the gathering as they reflected on her words. Could this be the divine mission their hearts had been urging them toward? In that moment, a burst of clarity surged within Mary's spirit. She realized they were not only reclaiming what they had lost, but they were also becoming agents of change, beacons of hope for those still trapped in shadows beyond their village. Their shared calling ignited a sense of purpose, a break from past limitations. As the moon cast its gentle glow over them, they stood on the threshold of revelation. The divine mission lay ahead, uncharted but illuminated with the light of faith. Mary looked into Lila's eyes, filled with determination. The journey is ours, and it starts now. Together we can shine brighter than our fears. As they joined hands tighter, a whisper threaded through the hearts gathered. What other divine revelations awaited them in their quest for purpose? What future illuminated by faith lay just beyond the horizon? The flickering flames of the bonfire danced, casting warm light over Lila and her newfound family. As they held hands, a calm spread through the circle, marriage of spirits ignited by a shared purpose. Tonight, we seek not only healing but the strength to reach beyond ourselves, Mary declared into the stillness. The village, wrapped in a blanket of stars, felt alive with possibility. What does it mean to shine? Lila mused, gazing into the fire's glow. Is it merely to be seen, or is it to illuminate the paths of others lost in darkness? Her question lingered, unanchored, as hope bloomed around her. Agnes leaned in, her voice filled with tender clarity. To shine is to reveal the love within us. It's to let our true selves, our joys and pains be seen. It's like a lighthouse standing unyielding against the storm. Each word felt like a soft touch upon the hearts present, awakening their dreams. The villagers exchanged knowing glances, as Samuel replied, Yes, when we embrace our true selves, we are not just reclaiming our identities. We are offering a piece of authenticity to the world. We become vessels of divine light. His voice held a weight, a truth they all understood too well as they spoke. A rush filled the air, not just the heat from the fire, but a palpable energy that connected them all. Mary could feel the divine presence wrapping around them, urging their voices higher. She called out with fervor, inviting them to join in singing their favorite hymns. Their voices, trembling and raw at first, met the sky with increasing harmony. The music coiled around the stars, making the darkness feel vibrant and alive. After the last note faded, a hush descended. Martha opened her eyes wide in wonder, her spirit alight with revelation. How often do we believe ourselves unworthy for lacking perfection? But our imperfections make us human, and in our vulnerability lies incredible strength. The crowd murmured, tears glistening in appreciation for her insight. Indeed, Lila exclaimed, her voice vibrant with passion. If we embrace our stories fully, we can transform pain into purpose. We can be the lamp in someone else's dark corner. Inspired murmurs echoed around the fire, souls charging with conviction. Mary sensed the moment shift, a deepening into the sacred togetherness they shared. The divine tapestry was expanding to include not just their healing but a mission knitted together by their combined light. She stood with urgency, addressing those gathered. Let us not only reclaim our truths, but also carry this light to our neighbors and beyond. There are many who still wander in darkness. We must draw them close. Then, as if in response to their rising energy, a gentle wind swept through the village, swirling leaves and whispering promises. It felt like a divine answer, confirming that they were destined for greater things. Can you feel it? Lila asked, her eyes wide with possibilities. This movement is bigger than us. It's a river of grace flowing through our lives. We have the power to change the narrative. The villagers began to nod, inspired by Lila's boldness. They were awakening to the call of their hearts, their sacred mission illuminated like a dawn breaking on the horizon as they gathered closer, clasping hands tighter still. Each face shone with the anticipation of the unknown. What transformations awaited them on this communal journey? What legacies could they craft together, lighting the way for those still shrouded in despair? Mary felt a stirring deep within, a sense that their adventure was only beginning. Let us take the first step together toward the unknown, she whispered, for the moon indeed beckons us to rise. With that, they prepared to venture forth into the night, hearts full of hope and courage. The calling of their spirits resounded, a reflection of the divine purpose to unfold. But little did they know, the true test of their resolve and faith lay ahead. As the villagers began to step away from the bonfire, the firelight flickering like the promises yet to be unveiled, a hush fell over the group. Each person felt the magnetic pull of the journey ahead, a call that resonated deeply within their souls. Lila led the way, her heart fluttering with excitement mingled with a hint of apprehension. The night air wrapped around them like a comforting embrace, urging them to let go of their fears and doubts. Let us remember our strength, Mary said softly, moving closer to them. This journey will not be without challenges. But isn't that where true growth lies? Her voice held a conviction that felt like a warm light, igniting the spirits in each of them. They nodded, understanding in their eyes, their hearts aligning with a shared purpose. Walking together, their pace matched the rhythm of their collective heartbeat. The stars overhead twinkled like many guiding lights, reminding them of the promise of divine presence. Each step felt sacred, moving them closer to that deeper purpose that had been ignited around the bonfire. What will we face? Martha pondered aloud, folding her hands over her heart. The thought hung heavy in the air, prompting solemn reflection among the group. Faith isn't just about believing in the light, Samuel replied thoughtfully. It's about trusting through the dark. We must lean into our uncertainties. His words were tender, acknowledging the reality of the pathways ahead. They traveled along a narrow path that wound through dense woods, the rustling leaves whispering secrets of the night. Each sound seemed infused with anticipation, reminding them of their mission. Lila caught the soft glow from Marius' lantern, illuminating their way, and a thought flickered within her. What if this glow is more than just light? What if it's our collective strength? Lost in these thoughts, she suddenly stumbled, catching herself just in time. Laughter broke through the air, lightening the solemn mood. Even when we trip, we must rise again, just like we do in our journey with faith, Lila exclaimed, her spirit undeterred. The villagers laughed, letting the shadows of doubt dissipate in the warmth of their shared joy. They moved closer together, exhilaration mingling with the serenity of their purpose. It was a journey meant to be taken hand in hand. As they ventured deeper into the woods, the path began to fork, giving way to two different trails. One trail appeared shrouded in fog, whispering of the unknown. The other, dappled with moonlight, was inviting yet still uncertain. Mary halted, sensing the weight of the decision pressing upon them. "This is a choice we all must make together," she declared. "Will we brave the fog, or walk where the light shines?" Lila felt the pulse of her heart quicken. Each trail seemed to represent an aspect of their spiritual journey, not just a metaphor for their faith, but a testament to the challenges they would face, the trials that would shape them. The fog spoke of fears to confront, while the illuminated path whispered promises of hope. "Together, we can face anything," Lila proclaimed, a fierce determination igniting her voice. "It's the essence of our journey, to shine brightly for ourselves and others, regardless of the path we choose." As they stood, the air rife with commitment, a gentle breeze rustled through the trees, as if nature itself awaited their decision. Each villager's eyes gleamed with a mixture of fear and excitement, and Mary could feel the divine energy coalescing around them, urging them onward. "What will it be?" she asked, her heart full of hope. "Will we step into the fog and trust that the light within us is enough to guide us?" And as one, they made their choice, solidifying their path forward, but little did they know. The choice would unveil hidden truths about themselves that they weren't yet ready to face. The night thickened with anticipation as Mary's voice broke the silence. "Together, we choose to embrace the fog." A feeling of exhilaration swept through the villagers, a weight lifted. They knew in their hearts that faith thrives not in absence of fear, but in defiance of it. Hand in hand, they stepped onto the dusky pathway, where shadows mingled like memories, drifting softly and silently in the air. The mist hugged them like a protective embrace, wrapping around their bodies and prompting their spirits to awaken. They moved forward, emboldened by a shared purpose, hearts beating as one, a symphony of courage. With every step, Mary felt the weight of her burdens shift. The darkness surrounding them felt less threatening, almost sacred, as if it was inviting them to discover hidden truths about themselves. "What will we uncover?" she thought, a ripple of curiosity traveling through her heart, mingling with hope. "Hold on to your faith," Lila shouted confidently, her voice bold against the enveloping mist. "In the fog we can find clarity. The darkness cannot snuff out our light." Those words resonated with each villager, stirring something deep within their souls. The air shifted, and small glimmers of light flickered through the mist, a whisper from above. The villagers exchanged glances, eyes wide, invigorated by the kindling hope. "What if the fog reveals our truths?" Samuel mused aloud, a thought reverberating through the gathered souls. The stillness murmured its agreement as they journeyed deeper. Memories long suppressed, surfaced tides of unresolved anger, guilt, and unmet dreams arose, swirling around them. "These are our fears," Agnes murmured. "But remember, they have no hold over us unless we let them." Her strength flooded the group, and the mist seemed to thin, letting rays of understanding gleam through. "Let us each share what we see," Mary offered, breaking the silence, her voice steady. "Together, we can help one another grapple with the fears that rise." Each soul stood vulnerable, yet united in their truths. "I've carried the weight of my past," Chloe admitted, her voice soft. "Fears of judgment, of never being enough. I always felt unworthy." The air hushed, sensing the gravity of her revelation. "But tonight, I feel the power to rise above it." "Fear is a thief," Lila echoed softly, "but we cannot let it steal our voices or our worth." The group nodded in solidarity, each member feeling braver in the glow of shared vulnerability. The fog shifted again as whispers of encouragement swept through the assembled villagers, unraveling deeper truths. "I'm afraid my pain will consume me," Samuel expressed, "but I no longer want to hide behind it." As each confession emerged, the weight of past burdens began to lift, replaced by a shared strength radiating among them. A divine warmth enveloped the group, igniting flickers of inner light. With each shared pain, a spark of healing illuminated their hearts, allowing them to transcend beyond their fears. "We are not alone," Agnes proclaimed, her eyes shining with fervent belief. "Our endurance makes us stronger." Let these shared fears become motivations to transform ourselves and the world. In that moment, the fog lifted just enough to shine glimpses of hope across their path. As they pressed on, the mist slowly began to recede, revealing a vibrant clearing ahead. It was a symbolic shift. They had ventured through their wounds and emerged whole. "See?" Mary exclaimed, a wave of joyful tears filling her eyes. "We stepped boldly, and in this fog, we uncovered truths. This journey has revitalized our spirits. We are here, together." Hope flowed between them, igniting more than just words. It awakened purpose. With heads held high, they entered the clearing, a radiant meadow of soft grass illuminated by the moonlight. Upon the dewy blades, they felt empowered, the weight of burdens no longer holding them back. Lila gazed around, marveling at the beauty before them. "This is our moment, a place where we reclaim our true selves and express love's transformative power. We have journeyed beyond mere healing. We come together as warriors of faith," Mary declared, her spirit soaring. A thunderous cheer erupted from the villagers, echoing through the night, each voice carrying promises of new beginnings. And as the stars twinkled like divine diamonds overhead, they stood in unity, hearts glowing with the irreplaceable light of love and purpose. This, they understood, was the promise of their journey, not just for themselves, but for all they would touch. "Let this be our call to action," Lila shouted, arms raised to the heavens. "I surrender my past. I embrace my future. Together, we create ripples of transformation in this world." With hands clasped and spirits ignited, they vowed to be vessels of light wherever they went. This clearing, this journey, was just the beginning, the dawn of a new awakening for their souls, for their village, for all of humanity. And the echoes of that sacred night, a reminder swept through them. They would move forward, not just as a community but as a beacon of hope, love, and divine light. Their story was being woven anew, and with each chapter, they would arise together, reclaiming their true selves and igniting profound transformation. This is what the journey of faith truly means: the beautiful intertwining of struggles, the fierce acceptance of love, and the divine call to reach beyond ourselves, touching the world with every step. Now step forward, dear friends, embrace your journey, share your light, and allow love to lead you toward extraordinary transformations. And remember, as you embark on your own path, you must subscribe immediately to our channel so you never miss out on our next exclusive faith stories. Leave a like now to nourish the algorithm and spread our message further. Comment below with your thoughts, reactions, and personal testimonies about overcoming fears and embracing love. Share this video instantly with at least 5 friends who are ready to experience the divine manifestation of love and hope. Don't wait even one more second. Let us shine brightly together,